welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danika Foley-Long, and I'm here with the mayor of the town of Baldwin, Mayor Phil Prejean. I don't get you here very often, but now that you're here, I'm very excited, and I have lots of questions, a lot of things to cover.
Well, good.
Good. All right. Well, I love to hear that kind of enthusiasm. So, honestly, I think and we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly on this show, and we're going to get to the good, but right now, I kind of want to start off with the boil advisories. Typically, when I hear about Baldwin, it's boil advisory this week. Maybe next month, we may have another boil advisory. Tell me about the water situation.
Well, I mean, the boil advisories can be for a number of different reasons, and generally they're associated with a broken line. And with the broken line, in the vicinity of that area, generally that triggers a boil advisory. However, if you had to turn off a large section or what have you, once the pressure it goes below, I forget what the pressure is, but once it gets low, then everybody has to get a boil advisory,
Right.
even though that water is not contaminated or any problem, but that's just the protocol that the state makes us go through. And so once that's done, then within 2 days,
Right.
we take water samples, they test them, and then it comes back on. But it's water systems have breaks. I mean, it's just part of what they do.
Are we finding that the water lines are just really, really antiquated? Do they
No,
need an
no.
overhaul?
Actually, the one that we had the other night was not one that was in the ground very long. It's just where they had pushed it together. There was a leak. Evidently, when it was covered with dirt, it bent it, and eventually it leaked there.
Right.
And so we have been very diligent about finding leaks in the town. That was, of course, that was one of our problems, financial problems, is we were losing water. So we're very diligent about when we find some leak somewhere, we go at it right away. So that could have been probably a leak that could have been put off maybe, but the way we're operating now, we go at them immediately.
Right. And you mentioned something that when you have a leak, the whole town shuts down pretty much. They are under a boil advisory. However, the good news is that you are the recipient of a $300,000 grant. Well, you'll be able to have the installation of water valves, which will allow small sections of the town to cut off instead of cutting off everybody.
Exactly, that's what we have, and it's to put valves in. And what happens is the valves are in the ground, they're covered with dirt most of the time. And you're gonna find them and they're corroded or what have you. They won't close or they won't open or what have you. So what we're doing is we got this grant, we're gonna put newer ones in and put more of them so we can isolate very small sections of the town. Whenever we have to do something, maybe just a street or maybe just 2 streets instead of doing large sections. So
how soon do you expect that to
well,
take
the project
place?
is ongoing right now. So
Okay.
I mean, I suspect it, by this fall, the work should be going on.
Okay. Just saying, it's summertime. It's too hot not to have any water. So that's good. I applaud the city, or the town rather, of getting, those water valves, because it is going to decrease the number of headaches that citizens will have to incur.
A little over a year ago, we upgraded, we reworked our water tower, some more valving, more meters, and so we've been constantly putting money back into our water system.
Okay. Well, and speaking of money, how is the money flow over there in Baldwin?
Money flow is doing much better in Baldwin now. Our fiscal year ended yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And as of yesterday, our general fund, which is where all our monies come into, no longer has a deficit.
Come on.
And as of yesterday, all the bills that were within the office were paid out.
Back in black.
So yes, we felt very good about that. We were able to take care of all of our vendors. Nobody had to wait. Everybody's paid. And I mean, there'll be some other bills that'll trickle in because of the end of the month. But by and large, we will pay those immediately. So.
Now that takes me to another question. We're flowing pretty good right now. You said bills. Now I know, of course, at one time a lot of residents were behind on their bills when it came to utilities. How is that?
That has improved very, very much. At one time, I mean, it's a typical water system. You pay your bill after 2 bills, then we turn your water off. And at one time, we were turning off 20 to 30 people every month.
Yeah.
Now it's down to maybe 8 or 10.
Okay.
Okay, and we don't, and everybody pays. So there's no, we don't finance it anymore. We found it just didn't work. We tried it, didn't work. So we got the money. Our collections are much better.
All right. Well, this next segment we're going to talk about, it's going to get real. So I want you guys to come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. We've got a real conversation coming up next. It's nothing to do with politics. So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danika Foley-Long, and I'm here with Mayor Phil Prejean. I told you guys the conversation is about to get real, and it is. I think this is something we've never really had a heart-to-heart conversation about. So you're in the vicinity of Franklin. You're right down the road, as I say. And it's unfortunate I've actually had the conversation with the Franklin Police Chief about gun violence. And just recently they held a candlelight vigil for one of its residents. And so when you're in the vicinity, you wonder, hey, is that going to come to my community? Has there been any talks or conversation among mayors to talk about the gun violence that has come up recently?
Oh yes, we do. I mean, we've had shootings in our town. Just about a month ago, had someone shot pumping gas at a gas station. You know, I mean, it's unfortunately it's everywhere, and it'll pop its head up, become more prevalent in one area than another, and it's something we all have to deal with. But it's the community at large has to take a part in this. They can't say, well, the police should be doing this, the police should be doing that, because you don't want the police overbearing, and I can understand that, and I can appreciate that, and I agree with that. But on the other hand, you have to have some assistance to them. You have to give them some help. I mean, look, I use the analogy, is it my guys with the garbage truck, the trash truck, they're picking up trash. Well, something falls out. Well, immediately somebody's calling town hall and says something fell out that truck. So when there's some shootings going on, somebody sees something. Some brave soul is going to have to start standing up and saying, hey.
So let's talk about that. We're not in the Wild Wild West, I get it.
Exactly.
But it kind of can feel that way when you're having, these different gunshots being fired often, right? But do you think it's fear, or do you think it's just a culture of living in, I'm cool and I want to shoot and be feared?
That is it. Now, I mean, in some segments of the society, that there is a distrust of police, and I understand that and I appreciate that. But it's more ingrained than that. In that nobody wants to. I don't want to be a part of that. You got to stand off. But like I said, somebody is going to have to start taking a hold of it. Police can't be everywhere, and people. It's their community. We all live. I don't care who you are, we all live in a community, and we're all part of it. And so what affects one affects the other. If it's dangerous for one, it's dangerous for the other. So, I would hope, like I said, I hope that people will steel up a little bit and tighten up and say, look, I'm gonna make that move. I'm gonna identify somebody. And there's many ways to do it where you don't have to go stand out in front. You do that. And here again, I'm sure that, look, if somebody shot somebody, you had every reason to believe that one wouldn't come shoot at you. So, I mean, I understand that fear. But what I'm saying is that it's going to take some brave people to alleviate this.
Okay. And I have a couple of minutes left here, and I want to talk about the Kawan Charles investigation. We know that it spanned over at least two parishes, St. Mary and I believe, was it Iberia or St. Martin Parish? Forgive me if I have the wrong parish, but it didn't all occur.
Iberia Parish.
Iberia Parish, thank you. So how do you feel about the public kind of giving a backlash to your police department?
Well, I mean, I think that the town of Baldwin receives some undue attention in that matter. I mean, the fact of the matter is that when it all comes down to it, the only thing happened in Baldwin is the boy left town.
Well, let's talk about the alert. We have a couple of seconds here.
Well, I mean, there has been some question. People say, well, why wasn't there an Amber Alert? Well, there's a protocol, and the protocol is set by the state police. And the thing is that he didn't, what was reported did not qualify for an Amber Alert. His age was one of them. Another one was the amount of time that happened. So, I mean, you know, it's all, I thought the police did a good job. They put an alert out, I mean, for him. But, you know, it just was one of those things that the boy left of his own volition and went to and something happened to him, but it didn't happen in Baldwin.
Okay. Well, thank you for addressing that. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about it with the mayor of Baldwin. So come on back. We've got at least 2 more segments to go right here on The Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Conversation was getting good. If you haven't watched it, make sure to rewatch it. Tell somebody, let somebody know. It'll also be available on YouTube. We are KWBJ Live on YouTube, and on Facebook, we are KWBJ TV 22. Now let's talk about more water. Let's talk about the Bayou Teche.
Okay.
Of course, the Bayou Teche runs through Baldwin, and they just completed the Bayou Teche floodgate control. So I want to know, does that affect Baldwin, or is that
Not really, no. It's
it
was more put in place to protect the town of the city of Franklin.
Okay.
And basically it does that. The Teche has not presented flooding problems to us. Our flooding issues come more from the Shoe Pit Bayou.
That's right. You're right. And that is something that's often talked about at the St. Mary Levee District Board. Right. That's on one of their priority lists. And I know it's just kind of like a handful of residents, but it's life over property. So
well, it flows all the way from just south of Sharonton, or actually going back towards where Rain Tree Market is, back in that area.
Okay.
It drains all of that and goes all the way through, and then it goes all the way out to the intracoastal. And the thing is it's the major drainage area for Baldwin. Baldwin is a relatively high place on the coast, and so we gravity drain. We don't have pumps.
Right.
And so what happens is our ability, which is the Shoe Pit carries most of it, is that it's become silted in as it goes through the swamps and what have you. And so it's carrying less water, and so the water stays higher in it all the time. So that's presenting a particular problem to us from a flooding issue.
So you saying it silts in, there's no way to dredge that area? I mean, what are the
Well, there is. I mean, and I think that the Hurricane Protection District is looking at it, I think, as well as the Drainage District is looking at how to do that. But one of the problems you get is that much of the water that's in the Wax Lake outlet is being captured by the Intracoastal Canal and travels west. Okay, so what it does is the water in our area remains relatively high year-round. So when you go to drain, it pushes against that head. I mean, we've got cuts in the bank that now are silted up with red sand. Red sand doesn't come around here.
Right, I know.
So you know what it does is what it does, it causes everything to want to back up, and that's what you've got. And you've got in instances like you got a 5-gallon bucket used to hold 5 gallons of water. You put 3 gallons of sand and only hold 2 gallons of water. So that's where we are.
Yeah. Okay. But I know they're in the process of getting.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of scrutiny going on about how to handle that. It's a large issue.
Right. Okay. Well, now let's kind of get to something else. Let's talk about summertime. We have summer programs being offered to.
We have a summer program in our park. You can go online and find it. It's basically baseball camps, and they're long, and what they're for is for young children who want to start in the baseball, want to learn to play baseball. It teaches them. One camp teaches them about hitting.
All the mechanics, I'm sure.
The mechanics, and then another one will teach them about fielding the ball. Another one will be about running the bases or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's for every one of them, and nobody has to be any better than anybody else. You just go and you learn the skills to play.
Okay.
And we're hoping next year that we'll have a league play in the park. So.
What about the library? Well,
the library is a busy place in Baldwin, and it offers a lot summer programs for the children there, and it's utilized quite a bit.
Okay. Well, good. Well, it seems like you have a lot of things under control. What are some things that are on your list before you come to a close in your tenure?
Well, we want to redo our sewer lagoon. That's the sewer treatment area, and it needs work on it. It's older, and it needs to be upgraded. And so we've got a project going for that. We were just hoping that I can get it done get it started within the next year is my goal.
Okay. All right. Well, come on back. We have one more segment left right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danika Foley-Long, and I'm here with Mayor Phil Prejean of the town of Baldwin. Let's get into talking about economic development now. I know folks are going to say we never talk about economic development when it comes to the town of Baldwin, but I see potential, untapped potential. I see there's a casino not too far. You have to go through Baldwin to get to the casino, and typically they say if you build it, they will come. Why do you think that Baldwin isn't quite so attractive to small businesses, particularly small businesses?
I guess if I knew that answer, we would have the business right now. And I have been perplexed by that also. It would seem that we have the same biotech as everybody else has. We have the same Highway 90, the same 82 and all those other roads that are common with everybody. We have all the same attributes, but it seems not to have really to have stuck in there. Now, I'll say this: Franklin is making a great effort to change that, and I applaud them, and they are making some headway. Yeah. And so we've got our heads up, and we're watching to see if there's if some opportunities, and then certainly there's a number of programs available. For anybody wanting to start a business that we could assist them with. Okay. And like I was at a lunch with the area mayors just now, and just before here, and we were talking about there are federal funds and state funds available, loans and stuff like that, and we storefront things that we can help with, and so if anybody would want to have any interest in wanting to do that, we'd be happy to assist.
I mean, I will, we've gone through the good, the bad, the ugly, and one of the goods that we've talked about with Baldwin was that you guys managed to get out of the red. You don't owe anyone anymore. Cash flow is good. That has to be something that should attract businesses, right?
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope that would be a good thing. I mean, I got to say that I was sure that when we were in deficit and we were receiving bad press even from Baton Rouge. I mean, we were on the bad list of towns. Yeah. So we're not anymore. So hopefully that type of publicity won't be affecting us. And so I'm sure it had some effect.
Right, right. Well, the businesses that are there, because you don't want to ever penalize the ones that are there, how are they doing? How's the business climate in Baldwin?
Well, the businesses that are there are doing well. They've been there. There are businesses that have stayed, and I hope they're thriving and prospering. I really do. I know they're there, and they haven't shut their doors. So
And speaking of which, have you had any that have shut their doors, especially because of the pandemic? Anybody affected?
No, we didn't have any business closed. Well, we had one. Okay. But he's back open. Okay. No, he's back open. That was his choice to close during the pandemic, right. And but after that, the vaccinations began, he opened back up. So and with the pandemic, I mean, we were very fortunate. I had none of our employees missed a day of work. Well, I say that I had my clerk caught COVID, but she caught it at home from one of the children. Right. And she never brought it back to the office. So the office was never shut down. Okay. So and none of the other employees contracted COVID, and so we were very fortunate in that the town was able to operate on a normal footing during that time.
Right. Well, economic development kind of goes hand in hand with beautification. You got to have the town beautiful in order for folks to even find it attractive. How's your? I know there's a beautification committee.
Well, like I said, now that we're out of deficit, we'll be able to spend some more money on making the town even more attractive, and that's our goal to try to do that, to spruce things up, because it's kind of hard when we were in deficit to convince the legislative auditor that I should be spending money on beautification. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
So they didn't see it that way. So,
Okay.
but we're going to be getting there.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much, Mayor Phil Prejean. Thank you guys very much for joining us. As always, make sure to join us on Facebook. We are KWBJ TV 22, and also on YouTube, we're KWBJ Live. You guys take care.